Shabbat Shalom. Don't you just love a talking donkey in the Torah? It reminds me, and I'm dating myself here, it reminds me of Mr. Ed and Francis the talking mule. It seems that whenever there's a talking animal, our ears prick up and we listen in a new kind of way with more attention and more focus. We know there's a special message, and almost invariably, the animals speak truth that the humans are unable to discern. In our story, King Balak of Moab, having seen what happened to the Amorites, is afraid that his kingdom and his people... Okay. I feel like I'm going to eat the thing. Okay. So in our story, King Balak of Moab, having seen what happened to the Amorites, is afraid that his kingdom and his people will be overwhelmed and destroyed by the Israelites. In its foundation, this is a story of fear turned to hate and dehumanization. In his fear, Balak hires Balaam, a known diviner and prophet, to curse the Israelites. Throughout the Jewish texts, we get contradictory messages about Balaam. He's described by commentators as a prophet for hire. And yet from the start, Balaam tells those who are sent to hire him that he cannot do or say anything against the will of the Lord. Balaam is consistent in his message here. In the Mishnah, however, and Balaam is characterized as Balaam the wicked, and yet there is midrash that states that Balaam had greater wisdom than Moshe. In any case, as Balaam is riding along on his donkey with his coterie of messengers and dignitaries sent by Balak, the donkey suddenly stops on the road. Balaam, seeing no obstacles, whips the donkey. Of course, we know that the donkey is seeing the angel of the Lord, who was holding an upraised sword. Balaam cannot see this. The donkey, attempting to respond to Balaam's commands, tries to go around the angel, then scraping Balaam's leg on the fence. Balaam is becoming increasingly angry with this. He wimps the donkey again. So at this point, the donkey just lies down, which completely enrages and humiliates Balaam. The seer is truly the one who does not see. At this point, the Parsha tells us, the Lord opened the ass's mouth and said to Balaam, "What have I done to you that you have beaten me these 3 times?" says the donkey. Balaam responds, "You have made a mockery. If I had a sword, I would kill you." Many commentators note the complete lack of shock or surprise in Balaam in the fact that his donkey is talking. And it makes one wonder, have they had previous conversations? The ass said, "Look, I am the ass you've been riding all this time. Have I been in the habit of doing this to you?" Balaam answers, "No." And at this point, the angel of the Lord appears to Balaam, asks why he has beaten the animal, saying that if he moved forward, Balaam would have been killed, the ass would have been spared. Balaam then prostrates himself in front of the angel of the Lord. It is clear that Balaam has owned this donkey and ridden him for many years. Why would he not check to see if there is a snake in the road or if the donkey's hurt? But he just assumes that the donkey's being stubborn. It seems to me that there's a message here about communication as well as respect. Communication, for it truly to be communication, must go both ways. It is not just about expressing oneself clearly, but also about listening and hearing all that is said in response. People, and I include myself in this, often listen to others until they know what they want to say next, and then they stop listening. But communication is truly about being engaged with the other being, person or animal, being truly engaged means being truly present for the other. The first step here is to become aware that we might not actually be fully listening. Although the Israelites are a nation of a people and the donkey is merely a donkey, there is a way that both are being treated with an assumption about how they should or will respond in a given situation. This can be responding out of our fear or our anger. This makes us all less than we can be. In his book, The Elephant Whisperer, Lawrence Anthony, who is a conservationist and owned a nature preserve in what was then Zululand and is now KwaZulu-Natal, agreed to take a herd of elephants who had become unpredictable and dangerous around humans because of the multiple traumas inflicted on them by humans. Through some trial and error, he realizes that in order to keep this herd on the land and have a functioning and safe nature preserve, he needs to show these animals that they can trust him. This was not the prevailing theory at the time. Everyone told him he was nuts, that the herd was dangerous, nothing could be done, and that they should be put down. But I think he had enough experience with animals to sense that this wasn't right. And so he spent a lot of time with them, hanging out with them, being with them, speaking to them. Not that they heard him, but they understood his tone and his attention and his affection. So the herd was able to settle, and there are now elephant herds in that part of the world that had not been there for more than a century. Clearly, our relationships with animals, our understanding of animals, their intelligence, and what they understand has grown tremendously in the millennia since the story was written down. We understand that there are animals who have levels of intelligence that at least meet ours, if not go beyond. And today, many of us have animals that live with us in our homes, and what I learned was that this became common as long as 2,000 years ago. Animals have become incredibly important in people's lives. We rely on them for work, for service, for medical assistance, and in our culture, most commonly for companionship. And we know that there is communication that goes beyond words and tone and body language. There is a connection. This is some of what we see when children go up to somebody who has a dog and says, "Can I pet your dog? Can I pet your dog?" There is something that is indefinable here, we could say ineffable, about this connection. That's why it's a huge red flag when a young child purposely hurts an animal. Young children purposely hurt each other all the time. But when a child hurts an animal that has done nothing to harm them, this is considered a serious cause for alarm. Why do we take this behavior so seriously when all around us are examples of man's inhumanity to man? Because the leap from cruelty to animals to cruelty to people is a very small step. This can be seen as an intense reaction to fear, as anger is most often a cover for pain or fear. And yet, it's a behavior that needs to be addressed quickly. When any creature is treated as a means to an end, or assumptions are made that demonize a group of people, we diminish ourselves. This is how Jews have been treated in communities for millennia. When this happens, we lose many things. We close the door on unknown possibilities. In her book, which I've actually just recently started reading, See No Stranger, a memoir and manifesto of revolutionary love, Valerie Kaur, an American whose family is from the Indian subcontinent, talks about when as a child, she was in the thrall of wonder. Everything that was new enchanted her. She reminds us that children have an innate curiosity about new things, and this can include people, whether similar or different. She defines this wonder as seeing new things and people and approaching them with the sense of, you are a part of me I have not yet met. How would that change the world? Is Balaam a mercenary, a diviner or prophet for hire? Or is he merely stumbling through life trying to figure things out? He does not once curse the Israelites. Is he flawed? Well, yeah. Most biblical figures are flawed. They are human. And like us, are all flawed. And Hashem, in his wisdom, or her wisdom, fully understands that we all learn from our mistakes and our flaws better than we learn from our success. Thank you for listening, and Shabbat Shalom.